Hi, I'm Darnell Cox with Live Young Lifestyle, and I'm here today with my best friend Gina, and today we are talking about intermittent fasting. Now, unless you've lived under a rock this last year, you've probably heard of intermittent fasting. You either are doing it yourself, or you know somebody who is, or you know somebody who knows somebody who is doing intermittent fasting. And Gina is doing intermittent fasting, or so she thought. So we're gonna go over what is intermittent fasting, what are the health benefits, and how exactly do you do it. So intermittent fasting is it's not so much about what you eat, it's about when you eat. Is it a restricted time kind of, I wouldn't say diet because it's not a diet, but it's restricted time eating. So I normally put some of my clients, I'm a holistic nutrition and health coach, and so I do coach people one-on-one. And most of my clients, if they're healthy, I put them on intermittent fasting. Now there's two different types. I know you're on the one that's 16/8. So
Correct.
you fast for 16 hours and you have an 8-hour window of eating. I normally would go from 8 p.m. is probably the last time that I eat, and I eat again at 1 p.m. the next day, so we're skipping breakfast. And that is the most common type. The other type is a 5-2 plan, and that is 5 days of eating normal and 2 non-consecutive days of severe caloric restriction. And by that I mean between 500 and 800 calories a day. To me, that's really difficult to do.
I can't do that.
Yeah.
I try to do that. I go from 12, I'll start at 12 and then I'll end at 7. I try to have my dinners earlier, and that's how I work the intermittent fasting.
And you'll then eat at noon.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my last meal is around 7, and then I'll go till noon.
And it's not as difficult as you think, right? Like a lot of people when they say don't eat something in the morning, did you find it difficult to follow?
I don't find this program difficult at all, except I'm obsessed with coffee, and I can't just drink coffee black. I have to have a little almond milk in it, even if it's like, a few tablespoons of it. And that's where I screw up, because I know I'm not supposed to do it.
Right.
But I need that caffeine in the morning.
Right. So if you could possibly switch to green tea, if you can't have black coffee, you could have green tea until 12 o'clock and then have your coffee with the almond milk at 12. Because the concept of intermittent fasting is you need all of those calories out of your bloodstream. So when you're sipping on that almond milk in the morning, especially if you're putting in sugar or even artificial sweeteners,
Next episode.
that's a whole other episode. But if you're doing that, it's creating that glucose in your bloodstream. Your body is then reaching into a very available source for calories instead of reaching into the fat cells.
I really just have to stop it, and it's just a habit. And they say, like 3 days and you get over it. I can break it. And I know. But with the food, I really don't start until 12. And then, I'm pretty strict about that.
Right. And even if you're exercising, a lot of people exercise in the morning. If you exercise on an empty stomach, it's actually fantastic for your body, because you'll literally need to reach into those fat cells for energy. And why is that important? It's important because our fat cells store all of those toxins. So you want to keep those fat cells moving. You want to keep them flushing out, filling back up, flushing out, filling back up. You don't just want these mature fat cells sitting there. So there's a lot of different programs that people have for like keto coffee, or trying to have your body in ketosis by putting food into your body. You really don't need to do that. You just need to restrict your calories to a certain time, so that your body then has no choice to reach into those fat cells. Otherwise, if you're just drinking the fat, thinking you want to be in ketosis, it's still taking it from the bloodstream.
It's a really easy diet. Now, I have a question for you. Normally, what my routine is, forget the coffee, is that I will have, when I wake up, a glass of water, and I'll take my vitamins. I mean, it doesn't bother me. And then I go work out. It doesn't bother me at all. And then when I come back from working out is normally when I'll have a cup of coffee and then not eat until 12. But are vitamins still okay to take?
I always say you want to take your vitamins with your biggest meal of the day. And for people who do intermittent fasting, I think for me, especially, lunch is always my biggest meal of the day. They get absorbed better if you have the food that's in your stomach.
It's just that I'm home, I'm accountable with the vitamins, in the morning. At lunch, I may be somewhere else.
So maybe just time it and do it with your coffee since you're already having almond milk anyways. If you can do your coffee black or do a green tea, go work out, come back, have your coffee that you want, or say wait until lunch and then take your vitamins. They're just gonna absorb so much better.
Okay, good to
Yeah.
know.
If you're doing intermittent fasting, you don't want any calories before that window. Now, it's not for everybody. There's a lot of people that say like, oh my God, I would literally pass out.
No.
It's much easier than you think because you're sleeping for 8, hopefully, hours. That's another video as well, how important sleep is. First of all, you gotta love your mattress, but you're sleeping for 8 of those hours, so you're literally just missing breakfast. And I can hear a lot of you now saying breakfast is the most important meal of the day.
No.
That's bullshit. It's kind of this thing that we've been brainwashed into believing that we need to wake up and put breakfast into us, and it's mostly from manufacturers that fill those 2 full aisles in our grocery store of breakfast cereal, which is not really real foods. You know, our bodies from an anthropological point of view, we were not supposed to be able to go and get stuff out of our pantry or get stuff out of our refrigerator.
Did you just say anthropological?
I did. Our bodies are actually really well designed to go long periods of time without food. And in fact, it's much better for us. It helps our body to reset. It's better for our digestion. It helps that microbiome, which is our gut health, be able to reestablish itself, better for actually high blood pressure and inflammation. And inflammation is the root of basically all diseases. So it's really interesting when you go into the science of it that abstaining from food for those 16 hours helps reboot your whole system, and you just might lose a little bit of weight in the process.
Yes.
So make sure before you start on a program like this that you absolutely consult your doctor. But if you've ever had an eating disorder, this is not what you should be doing. It could sometimes make that worse. If you suffer from type 1 diabetes or you're hypoglycemic, it actually helps type 2 diabetes. But if you suffer from type 1 or you're hypoglycemic, you do not want to do this. If you have life-saving medicine that you need to take first thing in the morning, this is not for you. But for most healthy individuals, it's actually much better for our bodies. So that's it. Intermittent fasting helps you avoid many different kinds of diseases, keeps you healthy, and might help you live a longer life. And you just might lose a little bit of weight in the process. And that is a really good way to live young.